Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shade 45.
Wake your punk ass up. That
Crust out, y'all.
That's right, Sway in the morning, Shade 45, and we have the host with us right now, the one and only Roland Martin, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on? How we doing?
Roland, how you been?
I've been good, doing good, man. Running and gunning, trying to get as much golf as I possibly can.
Okay, that's important, man.
You know, yeah, that is vitally important.
Yeah, you got to get golf. Our president plays a lot of golf.
Yeah, but his ass needs to be at work.
Okay, well,
He needs to be at work. He needs to be at work.
You just said golf is important.
Yeah, it's important, but he said though during the election that he was not going to play golf because there are too many things to do.
Yeah.
He lied. As usual. That's why we have hashtag Trump Lies Matter on News One now every day.
Lies matter. Wow.
Oh, every day. Every day. Because it's a lie every day.
Yeah.
At least one lie every day.
Have you met President? When was the last time you spoke with or been in the same room as President
It
Trump?
was in January when he addressed Congress, and so the president, they always have this off-the-record luncheon with television anchors, and so I got invited in January. That was interesting. He had one before he left for this failed European trip, but I had a speech in Florida, so I could not make that one because I don't pass up money. So I appreciate being able to go there and hit him up with some questions. But I when I speak, I get paid.
You get paid.
So and matter of fact, same thing when Obama was president, they called a meeting. And I had a speech that day, and man, I was sitting there going, man, can y'all put this thing at 10 o'clock in the morning? No, it was at 1 o'clock. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, man. And of all the meetings, Obama was late.
Oh, he was late?
He was on time for the other ones.
Yeah.
But that day, dog, he was late. And so it was crazy. I missed the flight. It was so crazy. Missed the flight. Had to go to Dulles, missed that flight. So it was backed up. Dude, I had to book a plane to get to this speech. Because my deal is I'm on my commitment.
Yeah.
So, man, I ain't feel like paying that money to book that damn plane,
How much that cost?
It was $9,000.
I hope that speech paid well.
No. Actually, no. I profited off that speech.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay.
We
great.
charge enough.
Okay. You said we were talking about the European trip that the president took this morning, and Mike Muse gave two sides of the coin. Why do you say it was a failed trip?
No, it was a failed trip because, first of all, the president of the United States is the leader of the free world. You are to set a standard. We had Thug in Chief show up. We had, first of all, for somebody who always talked about Jeb Bush being low energy and talked about the stamina of Hillary Clinton, how he get tired in Saudi Arabia? Man, I'm tired. Man, I meant to say this, but I was just so tired. Hey, I only slept 2 hours. No, I thought you would miss the stamina. So you go to Saudi Arabia, where there were more 9/11 terrorists from Saudi Arabia than any other country, but you don't want to call them out. But then you want to go to our allies and call them out when it comes to paying more money for NATO. You criticize the cost of the building, and you jam them up. And also, he has total contempt for Merkel of Germany. Just total contempt. I mean, he don't want to shake a hand. He don't want to talk to her because Trump can't handle strong women.
He can't handle strong women.
And the bottom line is she don't play.
Hey, Roland, the question is, though, do you think that we should expect anything different, though, from President Trump?
Nope.
He practiced this when he was campaigning, that there's going to be America first. So some would say that this trip, in terms of his supporters, did exactly what they wanted him to do.
This trip wasn't America first. This trip was Trump first.
How so?
It's not America first. You put America first when, one, you behave like a president. You don't shove another prime minister out of the way so you can get to the front of the line. No. I mean, it's how you behave. And then, of course, he trashes Germany in terms of how bad they are. Then he sends people out to clean up. Oh, no. He was only talking about trade, not just Germany in general. No, he embarrasses America. He is an embarrassment. And remember, he didn't want to go on the trip. Because he doesn't like being away from home. Remember, during the campaign, he would do a rally and fly back. He doesn't like sleeping in beds that are not his. I mean, he's an embarrassment, and we saw it, how he behaves. The world looks to America to lead. And then you see the French leader, the whole deal with the handshake. He made it clear, you can't punk me. You can't punk me. And he's about to learn. This man loves to cozy up to dictators. Duarte in the Philippines, same thing. Oh, great guy, great leader. You mean the guy who joked about now there's martial law in the Philippines so soldiers can rape women?
Yeah.
That's a great guy. Okay, I'm sure glad we've established Trump's great guy standard.
Let me ask you, how do you feel his administration, because your show is about the state of black America. How does his administration affect the state of black America?
During the campaign, he said, what the hell do you have to lose? A hell of a whole lot. Let me be clear. Black people got it straight. Black people cannot be blamed for Donald Trump. White people can. They can't put this one on us. Now, maybe the 13% of black men out there who vote for Donald Trump, they were stupid. But 94% of black women voted for Hillary Clinton. Okay? We figured it out real quick. Now, all these broke white folks all across America, oh my God, I can't believe he's doing this. Fool, to your point. He tried to tell you. That's why I also use the hashtag, we tried to tell you. Because every time he do something stupid and white folks start crying, I'm like, we tried to tell you. Y'all weren't listening. Okay? You got the woman who voted for Trump, husband got deported. Oh, you thought it was the others who were going to get deported. Now your husband deported. Now your kids ain't got a daddy. He in Mexico. You got that. Now they're whining. All them suburban white folks who voted for Trump. Now they whining because he cutting back student loan grants. We tried to tell you. Same thing. Healthcare. Oh, my white folks are coming out of the woodworks now loving the Affordable Care Act. Hated Obama. Hated Obamacare, but love the Affordable Care Act. It's the same damn thing. And so all of these things are happening, and we're just sitting back saying, we tried to tell y'all. Now all of a sudden, they're realizing that everything this nut said, he's going to do. And you have Republicans in Congress who want to go right along with it. When you begin to study, look what the Washington Post has a story out today saying they are going to essentially roll back the civil rights efforts in every federal department.
What does that mean? Put that in layman's terms.
What that means is every single federal department, Health and Human Services, Treasury, HUD, every single one, forget any support of civil rights. Attorney General Jeff Sessions has already made it clear he's overturning Eric Holder's change in policy, where Holder said we're not going to mandate if you are a federal prosecutor that you get the longest prison sentence for nonviolent offenders. Sessions, hell no, go for the longest one.
Yeah.
Holder said you're gonna stop using private prisons on the federal level. Sessions, hell with that. We're using privately funded federal prisons. You look at initiative after initiative, Donald Trump will be bad news for black people across the board. And look, we even examined in his budget he presented to Congress. He's cutting out the Minority Business Development Office. I thought you were the jobs dude. How you cutting the office that's to help black businesses grow? Because he don't care. And that's just the reality. And so, our job is every single day, I do on News One now, how will his policies affect our community? They will be devastating, which is why our job is to call him out. He talks about Chicago and violence. So I jammed him up and I said, question, I've never heard you call the cops out for bad behavior. Nothing. Here's the call the cops out. They're great. They're wonderful. He supports civil asset forfeiture. Okay? More of our people have been getting their property taken. You don't have charges filed, can't get your property back. He supports that. Even the Koch brothers are against that. So when I talk to black Republicans, I tell them, show me where he's good news. I'm still waiting.
Roland Martin, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to take your phone calls if you agree or if you disagree with Roland Martin. 888-742-3345. State of Black America. Tomorrow night, 8 p.m. on TVOne, Shade 45. Give us a call. Roland Martin is here. Tomorrow night, the National Urban League State of Black America premieres tomorrow at 8 p.m. on TVOne. Going to be a lot of panelists there to speak with Roland Martin. We're going to dig into the state of Black America, where we stand now.
Especially when it comes to money.
Especially when it comes to money.
Money, money, money. To understand America, you better understand money. You better understand power.
I started to understand that around the 2008 market crash. I was a victim of that. I lost a lot of property. I went under, Roland Martin.
But here's the deal. Your story, if anyone understands American history, and I think part of the problem is with a lot of people who have no understanding of American history. And what people don't realize is if you look at American history, so you go through 244 years of slavery, 1619 to 1863, those 2 years, you still have the war. Then, of course, you have the Reconstruction period, arguably the greatest period in the history of America for African Americans, because you have the Reconstruction Amendments, 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, Civil Rights Act of 1866, Civil Rights Act of 1875. And so you go through all of that. And then, so that's 12 years. Mm-hmm. Great Compromise of 1877 comes. All of a sudden, Jim Crow starts. So 12 years ends. Then you go through almost 100 years of Jim Crow. The Black Freedom Movement, 12, 14-year period. And all of a sudden, things change. Now you go through the 80s and the 90s. African-American home ownership begins to increase. What happened in 2008, 2009? Yeah. Black people lost 53% of all wealth. Uh-huh. Due to the home foreclosure crisis. So just like after Jim Crow, just like in the early 1900s, black folks had land taken, illegally seized, same thing. So we've always had this sort of 10, 12, 14-year period of growth, then a massive fallback. Now we got to claw our way out of that to sort of regain what we lost. The key for us is how do we sustain that over a period of time.
You have Angela Rye that you spoke with, who spoke on this very topic with you. Here's what she had to say.
So in 2014, the Wall Street Journal does a story saying that $23.09 billion in small business loans was handed out in 2013. African Americans only got $385 million of that $23.09 billion. Part of the problem is that when African American businesses were going in to get loans, the only collateral they had was their home. No home, no loan, no business.
And this is one of those these issues that now, the more that I look at it, it really bothers me that we haven't learned from history. There's a speech, and I keep going back to this, and I've cited it in several speeches I've given this year since Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King delivered this speech in 1967, where do we go from here? In that speech, he tells us that we need to lean into our own institutions. Those institutions are black banks. Those institutions are black businesses, our community organizations. Hunker down and support ourselves. Why? Because far too often, the large banks that benefited from the disastrous housing crisis, that did not look out for us, that were borderline criminal, that would not lend to us through this small business program. The 7A program is bolstered by those large banks. Is now bolstered by this Steve Mnuchin's friends. So that's the real issue. If our banks had our resources in them, if we were banking black, then they would not have been just slaughtered in the 2008 recession. If we were banking black, we would have access to capital because they lend to us when my bank, for example, did not lend to me, even though they said that all my numbers were good.
Is that part of the solution, banking black?
That is part of the solution, but so that's an institutional issue in terms of where we place our dollars. Also, it then begins to go to in terms of what are we also saving and investing in. This means changing a mindset.
Yes.
And the reason I said money and power, and so we were last at the White House for the Christmas party when President Barack Obama was leaving the White House. Here's the thing: nobody ever asked themselves. One, there's only one federal agency that shares a lawn with the White House. You can literally walk 100 steps out of this building, and you'll be in the east wing of the White House. What is it?
Treasury.
That's it. That's the only one. Mm-hmm. It's the only one. They can play flag football on the same lawn. Mm-hmm. So now visualize this: White House, power; Treasury, money. Power, money, money, power. That by itself explains America. What we've done is, coming out of the 1960s, the Gary Convention in 1972 in Gary, Indiana, the Black Political Convention, we saw the growth of African Americans in terms of power through the prism of political power. Now, you had the Coleman Youngs of the world, Detroit. You had Marion Barry, D.C., Maynard Jackson, Atlanta, who understood how to leverage political power to maximize economic growth. The problem is not enough folks thought like that, thought like Richard Hatcher and Gary, thought like Stokes and Cleveland. So the problem is we've amassed, since the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act of 65 and 64, since those two, significant political power. So we elected a black president. Mm-hmm. What about the money? And that's the piece right there, which is why do our HBCUs fail? Because of Florida A&M, only 5% give. Only 3% in other schools. That means out of all graduates, 3 to 5% giving. So we are hoping corporate America will continue to fund our HBCUs, but then we say, well, we should control our own politics. Well, if you don't give, somebody else is going to control. Money matters. In September, John Hope Bryant has his book coming out called The Memo, saying we never got the memo. And that is, if you do not control your economics, then you do not control your community.
So we stated the challenge and the problem, but what are some of the solutions that we can talk about in terms of getting access to capital, right? Because in the clip we mentioned the 7A program. That's regarding individuals who want to do contracts with the federal government.
Right.
What we're seeing now is that a lot of blacks don't want to do the traditional brick and mortar, so we don't need that traditional financing. The millennial generation now is looking for actually smaller dollar amounts and drawdowns. So what are some solutions that we can begin to discuss in terms of getting access to the capital?
You've always had micro lending. You've always had that. Mm-hmm. And so the reality is the SBA is also micro lending. Mm-hmm. And so it's not necessarily that's about brick and mortar. That is still launching a business. Now, some folks don't want to go through the certification process. They don't want to go through that whole deal. But remember, you have federal dollars, you have state dollars, you have county dollars, you have city dollars, you have school district dollars. So you have significant pots of money out there. Housing authority. So you have lots of money that's out there. That's one thing. The second thing, though, is I'm not interested in this discussion of how do we start more black-owned businesses. We have 2.6 million black-owned businesses in America. 2.5 million have one employee. 7 years ago, we had 1.9 million black-owned businesses doing an average revenue of $110,000. Today, we have 2.6 million black-owned businesses. Average revenue is $78,000. So the issue for us is not we need more, we need larger capacity. Mm-hmm. We don't need more businesses with one employee. We need more businesses that have 20, 30, 40, 50 people. And so one of the things that I've done across the country, and I've spoken at chambers of commerce, I've spoken at business conferences. It's very interesting at our black business conferences, M&A, mergers and acquisitions, is rarely ever on the agenda. So the idea of you being a John H. Johnson or Bob Johnson, and you start a business and grow it to become the largest in that sector and then sell it for billions of dollars, that's gone. You have to literally begin to acquire. So we have to be in that mindset. I spoke at the Department of Transportation about M&A. And a sister came up to me and she said, my business partner and I, for 4 years, have been preparing our company to be sold. It never dawned on us to buy somebody else. Mm-hmm. After your speech, she said, I called my business partner and said, stop everything we're doing. We should be looking at acquiring. So that's one. So that's in terms of a business. Now, how do we change this mindset in terms of an individual? First and foremost, it's retraining our minds. And that is dealing with, for us, what historically has been the problem of that our sense of purpose and value has been through what we wear and what we own. Mm-hmm. So I had a Toyota Corolla. Had a couple of colleagues when I was at CNN, came to Chicago, and so the cab was late. I said, I'll take you to the airport. And they came out and they said, one of the guys who's a white guy, he said, I thought you would have had a BMW or Mercedes. I said, this going to get you to the airport the same way as a BMW or Mercedes. Yeah, same speed. I said, now let me explain something to you. 1, this is paid for. 2, this gets 32 miles to the gallon. 3, I don't give a damn what anybody thinks. I will roll up to a 5-star hotel in black tie driving this Corolla. I don't care what anybody else thinks. Now, bring that thing down to a macro level. Teaching our kids to say, your value is not tied up in a designer shirt, dress, shoes. It's sitting somebody down and saying, son, here's how I'm going to help you out. I ain't going to buy, or the daughter, I ain't going to buy you these Nikes. I'm going to buy you Nike stock. I know your friends want to run around in the newest LeBron shoes. Let them keep buying because your stock will be worth more in 5 or 10 years. I had a colleague at TVOne, same thing. She was dogging me. She's like, "Ooh, what's these shoes you got on? These starter shoes." I said, well, first of all, they were $25. I need a white pair of tennis shoes. I left my mother at home. And I don't really give a damn what you think. I said, what you think about what I have on is so irrelevant to me. I said, you don't even matter. Guess what happened? Her apartment she had this Jordan collection. Her apartment got broken into. Stole her Jordan collection. She was hurt. I said, now you know, if you own Nike stock, they couldn't have stolen that.
Roland Martin.
It's a mindset.
Yeah.
What's your value and what do you value?
Okay, I want to go to the phone lines, and I look at some of we were looking at the Forbes list. Some of the this is a hip hop station. Some of the top money makers. Diddy, they got marked at $820 million. Jay-Z, 810. Dr. Dre.
Don't believe any of those reports.
I don't believe those reports. But
don't believe them.
But I know they've done. We watched the work they've done. To your point, we watched Jay-Z acquire companies.
Right.
We watched Diddy acquire companies. Same with Master P. Same with Dr. Dre.
Right.
You're saying that mindset has to start in the home. How do we get it in the schools too?
Well, you're not going to get it in the schools unless you get it in the homes.
Okay.
And then when I say the homes, I'm actually meaning homes, community centers, our organizations. That I'm not looking to a school to do it. Now, here's what's also interesting. Black folks would say, it needs to be in the schools. But Roland, why you support charter schools? Well, because if I can control the curriculum and I can control what they're being taught and I can control who's teaching them, then I'm in control of our kids' education. Doesn't mean I don't support traditional schools. I believe in multiple ways of educating a child, but that's also a way of doing it. We have to understand, one of my favorite movies is Hoodlum. There's a great line in Hoodlum. When you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the piece. As John Hope Bryan said, we never got the memo. We have to stop assuming people know. And we have to talk to people in a way that's so basic for them to say, I get it. I was speaking in a public housing complex in Bryan, Texas years ago, and I was talking about this very issue. And the sister said, she said, I don't have any money. I said, yes, you do. She said, I have no money. I said, yes, you do. She said, no, I don't. I'm broke. I said, really? I said, the soft drink in your hand, how much did that cost? She goes, I don't know, this is $2. I said, did you have to drink that soft drink? She goes, I said, you could have had water, which means that's $2 you didn't have to spend on a soft drink. I was trying to get her to understand that she said, I have no money. I said, yes, you do. The question is, what are you spending it on? I said, darling, sister, don't buy one soft drink a week. That's $2. At the end of the month, you have $8. At the end of the year, you have $96. That means that you have nearly $100, which is $96 more dollars than you had at the end of last year. I said, I'm not asking you to save $100 a month. I'm asking you to save $2.
There it is. Roland Martin. We got Donald on the line from Miami. Donald, what's up? Good morning.
Hey, Donald.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys.
Hey.
My question is for Roland. I feel like our Democrats, I know we outnumbered, but I feel like they're not really doing as much and that much for the people, for their constituents. I feel like, every other day a bill get passed and, they don't fight for us. And that's how I feel. I don't know if anybody else feel like that.
Okay, you said they don't fight for us, a bill gets passed. You're speaking in broad generalizations. Give me a specific.
Let's just say I can't think about nothing else.
And that's precisely my point. You're making a broad generalization. You have no specific, and then you want me to agree with your assessment, but then you have nothing to give me, nothing to work with. And so if you can't identify exactly what it is you think is a problem with, well, then neither can I. And then when you say our Democrats, what are you talking about? D.C.? Albany?
D.C.
Are you talking about? But where do you live?
I stay in Miami.
You stay in Miami. Okay, where in Miami? City of Miami or Miami Gardens?
Miami Gardens.
Miami Gardens. And so, question: what is being proposed to pass in your city council that impacts you? Have you been to any city council meetings? Any county commissioners meetings?
I have been to one or two.
You've been to one or two, and you went there for what purpose? What was the reason?
They were trying to pass some type of ordinance, some type of ordinance that I didn't agree with, and I had to go and voice my opinion.
Okay, and that happened once or twice. You are more impacted by what happens in Miami Gardens than what happens in Washington D.C. So the school board. How often have you got kids? You got kids?
I've been to school board. Yeah,
No, you have kids?
Yeah, I have kids.
Okay. And so how often have you gone to the school board to deal with them on public policy that impacts your school children?
I've been to one school board
That's
meeting.
my point. So you've been to one school board meeting, you've been to one city council meeting. How old are your kids?
I have a 2 and a 7.
7-year-old. 7-year-olds in what grade?
Going to second grade.
So kindergarten, first and second grade. So you've only been to one school board meeting when your child has been in that school system for 3 years. My suggestion, focus just in front of where you are. That is right in front of you. The school your kids go to, the neighborhood you live in, the city you live in, the county you live in, the state you live in, then what happens in D.C.
I mean, hey, I totally agree with you, Roland, but I'm better than some other people.
No. This is not a question about are you better than somebody else. I'm talking just to you. And then what I want you to do, I want you to then go find 5 other people who are neighbors or other parents and say, we're going to roll together to make this happen. Then I want you to challenge, let's say, I want you to get 4 others. Now y'all got 5. Now challenge those 5 to go find 5. Now y'all got 25. Now challenge those 5 to go find 5. Now you got 125. That simple challenge, you by yourself can help change where you live. Stop focusing on just what's happening in D.C.
Hey, Donald, you're a citizen, man. Keep us posted on that progress, too, all right?
Sway in the morning, 125, baby.
All right, my man. I'm going to take one last question.
125.
Tyler, go ahead. What's your question?
Grams.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, Tyler?
I really didn't have a question. I kind of just wanted to say a comment kind of about the presidency thing that he was saying with the voters. You know, I think instead of blaming either whites or blacks or who voted for who, I think we just need to say, hey, look, Donald is our president, and we need to support him and keep him in our prayers as much as possible.
No, hell no. No, hell no. No, hell no. I am not going to support what is wrong. And if I pray, no, you don't want me to pray, because see, first of all, my wife is an ordained minister. I know how to put some folks on the wall and pray them to their own divine good, which is mean to leave. I will not support nonsense. I will not. Let me tell you something. I oppose President Obama on some stuff. And so when you say we should support our president, I am not going to respect a president who can't even respect the presidency himself. I am not going to respect a president who can't respect the court system. We have 3 branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. He has no respect for the executive, no respect for judicial, and no respect for legislative. So you want me to respect that? This man slams federal judges who disagree with him, who are ruling on when it comes to the law. We've now had multiple federal judges rule against his immigration ban. We have multiple judges rule against him on other issues. And you want me to somehow respect that? No, that is not going to happen. I want a president who respects the people of this country, who respects the Constitution, who does not want to be a dictator. That is what Donald Trump wants to be, and I will never respect that.
And then the other comment I wanted to make is that I think instead of I've been trying to not say whites or blacks anymore. Just we're all Americans. We should all love each other.
No, hell no.
Not that either, Roland.
No, hell no.
Not all Americans.
The reason you falling for that okie doke. Okay, numbers don't lie. White college graduates, white men, white women all voted at higher numbers for Donald Trump. Black people, 94% of black women voted against Trump. 87% of black men voted against Trump. 70+% Latinos voted against Trump. So this on white folks. Okay, and the reality is he turned out those low information white voters in Wisconsin, Ohio, and Pennsylvania who hearken back to a day that no longer exists, and they need to wake up. So it ain't my fault that black people kept having kids and Latinos kept having kids and white folks stopped having kids. And in 5 states in 5 years, the average white death rate will surpass the white birth rate. That ain't on us. What I'm saying is this here, and that's a fact. Go to time.com. You can find the story. The point very simple is this here. You have to examine the numbers as to who voted for Trump and who didn't vote for Trump. I'm talking facts. Undeniable, certifiable facts. Now, it might make you uncomfortable, and you might say, I wasn't one of them, but boo, that's on you.
I understand, and I'm just saying, hey, man, nothing beats love. You know, I try to show as much love, even in the supermarket. Or
well,
whatever.
Guess what? I'm gonna love his behind out of office.
Hey, Tyler, man, I appreciate your call, man. You're a citizen.
Sway the morning.
Roland beating up our callers, man.
I think Tyler only 13. Roland was on his neck.
No, man. See, because what happens is we go through this. Well, no, let's love and pray. No. Because guess what? There were people who were burning crosses who said they were Christians. You have white evangelicals right now who are supporting what Trump is doing and saying nothing. Which Jesus do they actually serve? See, I'm just not falling for that. I'm going to call out folks who need to be called out and speak truth. And I have a very simple philosophy that I've abided by my entire career. If you do good, I'm going to talk about you. If you do bad, I'm going to talk about you. At the end of the day, I'm going to talk about you.
You're going to talk about them. Roland Martin, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow night. State of Black America on TVOne at 8 p.m. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Look forward to coming back, baby.
All right, absolutely. All right, up next, we're going to be doing some Celebrity Wire.
Yeah, man, there's a lot to talk about. Kim Kardashian, so much. Let's go.
Shade 45.
My name is Common. It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.